Hello, everybody. Welcome to Drop In, Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of 7 gamers come together for an open and engaging conversation all about video games. Tonight, we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 6, delayed games, and just like every other episode, moms. I'm here joined by 2 of my guys. I got Cognitive Clips with the hat sideways. This is news to me. How's it going, buddy?
This is gonna cause circulation shortly. I'm pretty good, man. How you doing today? I wanted to look like a Grand Theft Auto character, even if for a moment, to fit in. But I should just be myself instead. You know?
I appreciated your effort. I appreciated your vulnerability. I mean, I could see it. You could be like a pedestrian on the side of the street. There's a chance.
I could get shot for money. I've got to pay for it.
Absolutely. I look like I could get shot for money as well.
You look like you would shoot somebody for money.
I look like one of the addicts on the side of the street.
I'm having some severe technical difficulties here. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you now, but your camera
if everything is fucked.
Jordan, I don't know what you're feeling, but do we want to start the conversation this evening with motherhood and gaming? Do we want to do that? Do we want to take a slow start to it while Jake figures out his technical issues?
I can take the slowest start with it because I have a story to tell.
Come here, Papa Bear. Talk to me.
Because what I'm going to be saying, what I'm going to be bringing forth for your consideration is both on brand for me, but not in the way you're going to think it's going to be.
Okay.
Because my mother in gaming is Samus.
Ooh.
And it's not Step on Me, Tall Metal Mommy Samus.
Okay. Which Samus is it then? I mean, that's the only mom.
No. I'm saying like it is Samus Aran from Metroid.
Okay.
But so Metroid 2, Return of Samus.
Yes.
She's sent back to SR388, which is also the nickname that I give my AirPods. It's not a big deal. To exterminate the Metroid Menace because of how much of a threat they were in the first game.
Okay.
She gets down there, weaving in and out of the layers of the underground, kills the queen. But the last thing that happens in the game, a little egg hatches. A little baby Metroid comes out of there.
Ooh.
And it's like wee, imprints on her, and she's like, she's a bounty hunter, but she got a code. She's not like she's not gonna blast a baby in the face. So she's like, come with me, baby. We're good. We're cool. Takes the baby back to the Galactic Federation. That's where Super Metroid opens.
Okay. With
the space pirates getting their revenge, slaughtering the entire facility and stealing the baby again, the baby Metroid.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's like, obviously, no, can't be doing that. You can't be taking this baby Metroid to do more experiments and being evil and whatnot.
It's my goddamn baby. I mean? Give me my goddamn baby back. I get it.
My baby back, baby back, baby back. So she goes, chases him back down to Zebus, which is where the first game was set, but they've rebuilt the facilities. Mother Brain, the artificial intelligence that led the Space Pirate forces in the first game, has been rebuilt, revived. You go through the whole game, get down there. You think you've taken Mother Brain out. And then she's like, guess what? I have legs now. Stands up. She's about to kill Samus. Then Baby Metroid is big Baby Metroid now. And
big Baby Metroid.
Like, it starts draining Mother Brain's energy and then gives that energy to Samus. And so you start healing back up again. Then Mother Brain slaughters it right in front of your face, Maury. In front of your face.
God.
But something, she gets like a hyper beam out of it and just like obliterates Mother Brain, destroys the entire planet, game over. You know what I mean? Like wow. We're out, we're cooked. And then the worst game of the series.
Which one is the worst?
Koei Tecmo, Team Ninja, teamed up with Nintendo to make Metroid Other M for the Wii.
Yes.
Here's the thing about Other M is that it isn't the worst game as far as the gameplay, moment-to-moment gameplay. Like, the cutscenes were of high quality at the time. It had voice acting, all that stuff.
Sure.
But, like, one could easily, and most people do, call it just straight up character assassination for Samus. Like,
Okay.
it's always been like, there's always been like a balance of her being like this, awesome bounty hunter, like pretty stoic, but also like she still like has, compassion. Like she doesn't like just murder baby creatures because they're evil creatures. And, she has standards, she has a code, whatever. So like there's like both sides to her.
Sure.
But like it's been memed to death because the game is supposed to take place pretty soon after Super Metroid.
Okay.
And like in the opening cutscene alone, she talks about the baby, like at least 3 times. And it's like just throughout the entire game, just like, I've been thinking about the baby. And like the other M is itself an anagram of mother.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
There's like clones that they're trying to make of like artificial intelligence to replace Mother Brain. That there's like, you're calling like MB, and like the, it's just a whole thing, dude. Like, they just straight up just took her from this, caring but stoic and no funny business kind of like a bounty hunter, and it's like, but the baby, and they took it like 16 steps too far. The research facility, like space station the game takes place on, is called the Bottle Ship.
Okay.
And the distress signal is called the baby's cry. I'm like, guys,
dog.
women are more than just mothers. Okay.
Come on. Someone call Boy Tecmo up and let him know sexism's dead. We're not fucking with this shit, brother. No,
it's been 15 years, but people are still salty about it.
This is so interesting because I remember when Other M came out, because I would have seen it at GameStop, and at that point I started to have like an interest in Metroid. I hadn't played one yet. I think I had actually. I think I played Prime Hunters on the DS at that point. And I adored Prime Hunters. Like, I loved that it was a multiplayer shooter that I could play on my fucking portable console. Like, it was so cool to me. It was everything. But I never got to play it, and now hearing that it was that piss poor and lackluster, it's kind of disappointing. It sounds like it took Samus from a pretty neutral standpoint, where it's like she can feel emotion, but she also has a mission to accomplish, and just sent her totally into the emotional side of her character. And I don't know, like, I think about even something like God of War, and you look at the transition from the Greek saga into the Norse saga, right? Like, they take a lot of time to take Kratos from that fucking demon genocidal maniac to like a father who's in pain. Like, they really take their time getting there, because you have to earn that. It's not something you can just throw people into. And it sounds like, I mean, this happens a lot when you give people properties that you own and allow them to do whatever they want to do with it. Sometimes they don't understand the characters all the way. Good to know for my eventual Metroid playthrough, which will be streamed here on DIDO. It has to be. I won't be playing Other M. Won't be playing Other M.
There's even more stuff of character assassination in that game, but I wanted to leave at least more on topic for like the mother/baby stuff. And I could just talk the entire podcast about Metroid nonsense, but I'll spare.
Oh, but Jordan, that was the way to open up our first segment, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about mothers in gaming. We're talking about video game delays. We're talking about Grand Theft Auto. Technically, I went out of order, but it doesn't matter because I'm not the host of this episode. I'm just here trying to entertain you. We're going to open with mothers in gaming, which we already have with what Jordan's talking about with Samus, which was an unlikely pick, but I like it. I think that parenting comes in all shapes and forms. Sometimes it's not biological. Sometimes it's something else. And so I love that you went to that angle. I did something similar.
Ooh, tell me.
My first mother is not the biological mother of the main character of this video game, but my God, is she motherly. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about Nyx from Hades. Oh my God. The biological mother of Hypnos and Thanatos, right? Thanatos is really cool. Hypnos is kind of just there, right? But I love Thanatos. I love his arc in the game. Like,
Hypnos also there.
Yeah, he's someone you talk to on the way, and he's usually asleep. I mean, it's in the name. But Nyx
Thanatos was a really good character in that game, dude.
Bro, the way they wrote him was so fucking good. And I love that even him and Zagreus can have like a romantic arc. Like, I love that. I think I romanced every person you could in that game. I was a bit of a man whore, but all that said, because the storylines were so good, but because Zagreus's mother in Hades is obviously not in the underworld and is in the overworld, right?
Famously.
Right. Zagreus does not have a motherly figure until Nyx. And so it's really awesome how you go through the game, and like every time you come back from a run, like not as strong as you were before, you go and you speak to Nyx, and she gives you like some bomb ass advice, some great information, right? But a lot of the dialogue is really emotional, and you can tell that the relationship between Nyx and Zagreus is not that between like a mentor and a mentee. It is like a mother and a son. And despite the fact that Zagreus is not her biological child, she has taken him in by all accounts. And so I loved Nyx. I loved all of her dialogue in Hades, and I'm excited to see what she does in Hades 2. I'm not playing early access. Famously, me and Patrick.
I was going to ask, have you touched it at all, or like you touched it a little bit and you're going to wait for the rest of it? Because I think that's what he did. He played a decent amount, but he's going to wait now until the full release comes out.
Yeah, dude, no, it's wish listed on my Steam, and I've refused to do it. I go and I look. Every once in a while I go look at the price point, and I'm like, okay, maybe today. I'm like, nope, I want to wait until I can play it. The thing that sucks about all that now, and it's good for Switch. Like, I'm really glad Nintendo got their exclusivity deal, but Hades 2 is going to be on the Nintendo Switch 2 first. And then some point down the road, we'll see it come to other consoles. So I'm going to have to wait probably even longer. Not a huge fan of that, but also that's how exclusivity works. It's a great move on Nintendo's part.
Yeah, I do. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that they did that with Hades 1 as well. Like
they did
as far as console launch. Okay.
Yeah, because it was on the Switch first, and it was weird. I'd heard the rumblings of Hades and how great it was, but I didn't like play it, or I wasn't even invested in playing it until it was about to come out on the PlayStation 5. So I didn't have to go through this longing that I have to go through now, being like so excited for it. And I've enjoyed Supergiant's previous titles. I think at that point I'd played Transistor before and I liked it, but I didn't get that far into it. Now I've played in Platinum, Transistor, Pyre, Hades. Like I'm a Supergiant fanatic. I still have to Platinum Bastion at some point, but yeah, like I have to wait now, and I didn't have to wait when the first game came out because I didn't know how much I was gonna fucking love it. So,
can I confess something to you?
Please, I want your confessions. These are my confessions. Just when I thought I said my chick on the side, said she got one on the way. These are my confessions. Sorry,
man, I'm broken.
I don't know what to do. Go ahead.
I have started Transistor and Bastion, and what other ones did you like? I did clear at least one run of Hades.
Okay. So you
never did get to Pyre. Was there one more that they've done, or is that about it? Really,
it's Bastion, Transistor, Pyre, Hades, and now Hades 2.
Okay,
yeah.
I loved what I played of Transistor and Bastion, but never actually reached the end of either one of them. Like, I think I got pretty far in Transistor. I feel like that was one of my first true, like, really, really true indie experiences on my PlayStation 3 or 4, whichever one it came on.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really cool. Like, this, like, the music, the art, like, this is really awesome. And I need to go back and play it, like, especially if it's good enough for someone to platinum. Like, I know,
dude,
you're not quite as much of a platinum whore as Cayman is, but I feel like it still takes a little bit for you to want to get to it. You know, like you're not platinuming every game, so it must be something special.
It really was, and I think it's probably Supergiant's most contained title. A lot of their other stuff, like Pyre, touches on like a lot of different topics. I think it specifically touches on the topic of guilt really well. Holy shit! Like I've screenshotted so many like quotes from Pyre. Pyre is a masterpiece. Like go play Pyre. I would say play Pyre before you play Transistor. That's probably a crime to some, not to me. But Transistor is really confined. It's a love story. I mean, that's what it is. It's not tackling a lot of other human conditions outside of love and loss. And it does that really, really well. And the gameplay, as you get farther in and you start mixing your different, I can't remember what the abilities are called, but as you use them, oh, dude, Transistor is so fucking good. I never beat Bastion either. So you and I are in the same boat there. I don't know. I think that Supergiant has just evolved so much since Bastion that you can see it was their first game. Like it's very clear from a lot of the lack in the game. Personally, I think At the time, it was amazing, and it got raging reviews, and it was an amazing indie title. I just don't think it's aged as well as like Transistor or Pyre, personally.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Let's see. Guys, we have an update from Jake fucking Twitching. It looks like right now, Jake is still doing his best to boot up, so we're gonna keep shooting the shit and talking the shit. I almost said Jake. Jesus. Jordan, what is another mother? Who is another mother that
Another
resonates
mother.
with you?
I was telling Jake before we went live, it was fun because I was trying to think of, sometimes like there's like so many examples that your brain just like doesn't register. I was like trying to think of mothers in games that actually had like a real role to play, as opposed to just like, this mom died and I'm sad about it, I'm gonna go kill a person about it, kind of a thing. Like just getting fridged, as the kids say. At least they did at one point. Right. But then I Googled and I was like, oh duh, Freya, come on,
dog. Okay,
speaking of the Norse saga, I mean,
brother, she's on my list. Wow,
her performance, I keep forgetting who the actress was, but man, that performance is just incredible. And
amazing.
I love the way, sorry guys, spoilers for a 7-year-old game. But like the way that the game parses it out, like I think at one point, what some of these games do for me, like God of War 2018, Destiny, for example, they'll be in a setting or have like certain locations that just make me want to be like, oh, okay, like, just hop on, like learn more about the setting. Like, for example, did you know for Destiny 2, Nessus, that is an actual like little thing that's out in our solar system. That there really is like a planetary type of thing in our solar system that's called Nessus that they just borrowed the name for. It obviously doesn't have any Vex infrastructure that I know of, but you never know.
Right.
But I was kind of going back and kind of refreshing my memory on some Norse mythology, and I was like, oh yeah. But, and there's like dude Balder, and he like is nearly invincible except for mistletoe, and blah. I was like, oh
yes, dude.
And like,
yes, dude.
Man, that was like
dog.
And so like when you come in there, I can't remember, like it's been so long since I played. It's probably been since 2019 since I played it, but like something happens to where I think it's like Atreus's quiver snaps, and they like meet some characters like, oh, here's some arrows made of mistletoe, and then you go back and see Freya. She's like, yo, no, don't ever use these for anything ever. Just like takes them away, and you're like, ooh, what's that about? And then the end of the game comes, and you're like, oh, that's what that's about. But like the way that they explored that, at least initially in Ragnarok, was fantastic. Like just like her grief and her rage at like everything. I do have qualms with how video gamified it eventually got to be in Ragnarok. With like in one scene, she's like essentially this awesome monologue of like, I'm going to let you live for now because it serves my interest too, to, align with you and do this. And then the next scene, you're just like shuffling along this like yellow painted path. And she's like, tell me about your childhood. I'm like, what? There's a little bit of like a weird, like,
it's a hard transition.
It is. Like, thank you. It's like a real hard left into like expository dialogue after you just, basically said like, I would love to kill you right now, but I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. And then like,
how's your week going? Yeah,
right.
I totally agree.
Do you like soup? Have you tried soup lately? What are your thoughts on that? It's just like...
Right. Like, what are we talking about? Dude, this is so interesting that you bring up Freya, because I had her on my list as well. I think that Freya is my favorite mother in all of video games. And I think it's because she's so much more than that, but you see all of those facets of who she is through motherhood. Like, it's the way that 2018 ends, right? Where Kratos thinks this is the best possible thing that I can do is snap Baldur's neck. Again, spoilers for a 7-year-old game, right? They get the mistletoe arrow in him, and they snap his neck. But it's the way that, again, the actress, and I cannot remember her name right now for the life of me either, that she gives that performance.
Danielle something?
I think
look it up.
Yeah, we're going to the back room. But like it's all the emotion. You can feel her grief, her rage, her anger at the end. but it's also the lengths that she'll go to for her son and to avenge her son. What was the actress's name? Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Danielle Nicole Basutti.
Look at you, dude. You're on fire. You're on fucking fire.
One.
We give points for that, though. That counts.
Partial credit. I love it.
Partial credit. And then even her journey of forgiveness. You know what I mean? This is why I love Freya's character so much, right? Is that you see her in the depths of her anger, in the depths of her despair. And I love that they explore this theme in Ragnarok. And they do this in a lot of places, but they really do it between Kratos and Freya as well. And that's this idea that there are things that like are really like they're just unforgivable. And yet we can find the humanity in others. Like we can find the depravity that somebody operated out of, and how oftentimes it's the depravity that people are operating out of that determine their choices and not their character, right? Like Kratos in that moment is in this moment of depravity when he snaps Baldur's neck. He's like, we have to be better gods. How can we be better when this is what we are, right? And he's trying to protect his son, but he's also trying to save Freya, and he makes like the decision that is easiest, right? That maybe costs him the least. And yeah, is that a testament to who Kratos has to be for all of eternity? No. But it's fucked. And I love that they explore how are Freya and Kratos going to have that dialogue. You killed my fucking son. Are you more than that? And that's so much of Ragnarok's dialogue about shame and about guilt for past failure. And I fucking love that shit. And Freya is one of our main sort of ways of looking into that dialogue and looking into that conversation. So my God, you took Freya off my list. And you know what? You know what, Jordan? I have one for you, damn it. But first,
okay. I
want to talk to the chat. We got Kaylin here saying Lady Demetriou. I can never pronounce it properly. She's from.
I want to say it's Dimitrescu. I think
so. Mommy, yeah, definitely. That's a mother. Mommy. And then Noah says Naru from Ori is the best video game mom. To be honest, Jordan, are you an Ori fan? I think you are.
So I never could beat the first Ori game. Pretty punishing, like surprisingly punishing. That game is.
Yes.
But I did. I still liked enough of it to know that I wanted to play the follow up, and I did play all the way through Will of the Wisps. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Right. And that's the thing. I've played a little bit of the first game. I watched my ex play a lot of Will of the Wisps, but I don't remember enough about it. But an amazing poll from the chat. Mine is ironically from the same universe, Jordan.
Okay.
From the same world. Do you know which mother I'm talking about?
From the Ori games?
Oh, sorry, from God of War. That's my bad. That's my bad.
Oh, I don't.
It's Faye. Dude.
Bro.
Dude. The heartbeat of God of War 2018. There is no God of War without Faye. Also, there is no version of Kratos that ever becomes more than he was without
Faye. Yeah.
Yes. Talk about a friend, a partner, a comrade, someone to lean on, someone to like say your shit to. Like Faye embodies the best of that. The fact that Kratos could come to her that broken and that somehow she could piece back like some semblance of dignity for Kratos so that when she left this life, it would still be enough to keep Kratos going. Oh my God. Like, talk about a great character, talk about a great partner, talk about a great mother. Like, I think Faye is so fucking exceptional. And I love the flashback sequences that they do in Ragnarok with her, where they have her in the boat with Kratos and they're going down the river and she has that moment with him. I can't remember what it was, but it's a flashback sequence. And I think that she says something like about grief. And I can't remember. I can't remember what it is. Hold on. Guys. Yeah. Talk to him, Jordan. Talk to him.
Oh, you were, it's like right there. It was,
I know.
I remember being like, oh, this is so good. While you're looking that up though.
I got it.
Go ahead.
The culmination of love is grief, and yet we love despite the inevitable. We open our hearts to it. Oh,
stop.
And dude, and that line,
I just got chills with you reading that, dude.
Fuck,
like,
dude, look, it's standing up on my arm. Oh, and it's
yeah.
I
was gonna say this one I don't even have to look up because I just adore this person. Deborah Ann Wall.
She's so talented.
So talented, man.
Dude.
Like, and just by all accounts that I've been able to see, just like a fantastic human being kind of person, you know. And she just really brings that warmth, but like, you know, man. So like when I saw that she was actually bringing, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like that's a great pull for that. Like I adore her.
Dude, such a great pick. And she's also like a huge fucking nerd. She plays D&D every weekend.
Yes.
Like, I love that shit. I love that stuff.
That viral clip of her trying to kind of like teach John, like gently teach John Bernthal, like, and he's getting so into. Oh, it's such a good clip, and I mean, I feel like I almost want to say it's overshared, but it's so good though. Like you almost can't share it enough. Like,
it really like helps you like tap into that wonder that kind of a tabletop experience brings. I think that like what I love about Faye is that I think that it's not just 2018 that hinges on her existence, but it's also Ragnarok, because you have that moment at the end where right before the big battle where they go to fight Odin and prevent Ragnarok, like, you know, they're in their tents and they wake up the next morning for the fight, and Kratos like grabs Atreus. And what quote does he say to him? He says, I told you to like close off all the pain. And he's like, no, open your heart to it. Like, feel their suffering, like feel their longing, like feel all of that shit. I need you to feel that. Like, Kratos, his entire life has lived by this code of just shut it out. I mean, all the loss. I mean, the death of his brother, the death of his father, the death of his first wife and his daughter, right? Like all this fucking loss, the death of his second wife. Like, he has been taught through life to just shut it all out. And he finally has the courage, after remembering that time with Faye, remembering that time with his wife, his partner, his comrade, like his friend, that like, no, like, you're supposed to feel it. You know what I mean? Dude, you're supposed to open your heart to it.
Again, but like, those games will always have this like special hold on me, because like, not even in the sense that I only ever played through each of them one time. It's just like, for whatever reason, just wasn't the type of game that I chose to replay. I think I brought that up in some other past episodes. Check out our previous episodes on dropinDropOutPod.com. Yes. But my son was born in 2018, like the end of 2018.
Wow, dude.
So like, and hey, it's Mental Health Month. Might as well just bring this up again. And I was diagnosed with depression in like 2015, 2016-ish. And so like, for a major point of that game to be like, you are unintentionally making your son suffer because you won't divulge to him, you won't talk to him about who he is and who you are,
dog.
And like, dude, that just like really set with me of like, not that I ever intended to, but just reinforcing like, when it's age appropriate and in age appropriate ways or whatever, like, to let them in to that to an extent of like, you know, this could be something that you have to deal with later in your life, because it's something that I deal with in mine. And like, just not hiding. What is it like? There's some quote in there about like your true nature, like, you know, you're by hiding his true nature and your true nature from him, like, he's suffering. And like, the only way to get through that is to tell him and like open up to him. And then, that quote before Ragnarok, dude, like, because it's something like, because he had told him in the first game, like, you know, close your heart to it, like, they're suffering, whatever. And then I think he actually kicks off that quote before Ragnarok with like, listen, I was wrong. And just how important that is as a parent too. Like, to just be like, hey, yo, I kind of lost my cool earlier and that wasn't good. You don't deserve that. I was wrong. Like, let's fix it, kind of thing. But like, because he says something. I wish I could remember the exact quote. Maybe that's what you're pulling up. He says, like you said, to open your heart to it. But he says something about that you will lose a lot of things. But like, that's the one thing that I don't want you to ever lose. Like, don't ever lose that connection that you have with people that makes you care and makes you want to help them and save them. And that was just so powerful. So good.
Dude. And I'm sitting here now and like, my God, they're trying to they're trying to hoe me, and I
not
just
again.
I
Not
know
again, guys.
I'm livid. I'm livid. And it just won't let me find it. But it's something to that degree. He says, I was wrong, Atreus. Open your heart to their suffering. And I love what you said about your own journey with 2018 and how you were like, oh, wow, this is reinforcing that like one day it is to my children's benefit to open them up to my own darkness. And everyone's darkness has different facets and it looks different for other people. But allowing your child to peer into that, it's like it will make them better because ultimately they're going to become a product of you. Like, the way that you operate, you know, and it's not just like DNA, like it's the way you do life. And if you don't give them the tools to overcome the parts of you that are not so great, then they will fall into the same traps that you did. So it's like, dude, I fucking love the God of War games. And my God, all of that. I mean, all of this stuff that we love, it hinges on Faye as a character. If she's not there, this journey never happens, right? I'm never moved by 2018 and then Ragnarok. You're never going into fatherhood during 2018 and having this revelation of fuck, when my kid is here, when the time is right, like I'm going to open him up to my own darkness. I'm going to open her up to my own darkness. Like I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Like we never have that story. So man, dude, shout out Faye. Jordan, do you have another mother to wrap up this segment? What are you feeling? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling, man, you know, it was tricky because that was like, again, some of those ones I was trying to look up and I just like, I couldn't remember who was actually a mother that stuck around. But here's some of the ones that didn't though, dude. Like, what is it about the Fire Emblem games and just dead moms, dude?
Dead moms.
Like
dead
every
moms.
time.
They all die. They're all dead.
Every time, dude.
And they do it in the opening hours of the game every time, bro. Like, even the Fire Emblem games that I only have 4 hours in, I know the mom's dead. They're always dead. Dude.
One of the funniest things to me, so for those who aren't knowers, there was, for whatever reason, Fire Emblem decided to do they pulled a Pokemon, and they made 2 simultaneously released games for the 3DS, I want to say. It was Fire Emblem Fates.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a Conquest and something else.
Conquest and Birthright. Birthright.
Yes, thank you so much.
I'm here. I'm here, baby.
And so, like, the idea is basically, at least surface level, before it gets stupid, the idea is, okay, so you're basically choosing, do you side with your blood family, or do you side with the people who raised you, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's a kind of a cool concept. And then you fire up the game. And it's not just like, oh, like your family was attacked and this other family found you. The other family straight up murdered your dad.
Yes. Yes.
And then stole you. And then eventually killed your mom too, right? Like that's like 2 hours in or whatever. And so it's like, how is this a choice? Like,
bro,
do I stay with my blood relatives or the ones who murdered my blood relatives? Like, what is like? It like took any sort of nuance out of it, and it's always bothered me to the point that like that's like, of the Fire Emblem games that I've played, which are several, that's always stuck out as probably my least favorite, just because the concept, like, shoot yourself in the foot in the first 30 seconds.
Bro, when I bought Birthright at launch, when I realized like where the story was going and what the fuck the other family did, I was like, well, thank fucking God I bought Birthright. You know
I also had Birthright. I was like,
dude, the poor fucks that bought Conquest, they're like, these people are genocidal maniacs. Jesus Christ, what did I get locked into?
Right.
That's so funny. No, dude, notoriously, the mothers that didn't stick around are the mothers in the Fire Emblem games. They don't last long. Well, we've talked a little bit about motherhood and gaming, Jordan, in preparation for Mother's Day. But Jordan, there's another topic that we were going to talk about tonight, and I think we should talk about it now. Tonight, we're going to be talking about delayed games. And Jordan, you pitched this in our chat, which I greatly appreciated.
Yes.
A game, we've each brought at least one game for each of these categories. A game that was delayed and it was benefited by that delay, number one. Numero dos, a delay that hit us in the chest. Like, damn, dude, I was really excited to play that shit, and it's not coming out. And then third, a game that probably should have been delayed because a coat of paint little more polished would have probably helped those fucking Metacritic ratings.
Bring some yellow paint, paint over some. Let me show you where you should have gone.
Right. How's your week going? Right. As we walk over the yellow paint. And fourth, a game that was doomed from the start. No amount of delays could have saved it. Jordan, which one do you want to start with?
I think we start positive. What's a game for you? At least if there's more than one, great. But obviously sometimes those delays really do help with that code of paint. There really was something that they needed to work out that the delay helped with, and we all benefited from it. So what do you have for me, Maury?
Dude, I think for my first slot, to its benefit, was Team Fortress 2. Jordan,
okay.
Have you played Team Fortress 2?
Actually, I have not played 2.
Okay.
But my brother and I were both fiends for Team Fortress Classic.
Dude, that's
with our 56K dial-up plug-in modem. Like, I was hopping on that before I walked to middle school, dude. Like, it was so much fun.
Dude.
I was a sniper. Like,
really? No shit.
Yeah.
Okay, dope. I was mainly a scout player in TF2. I fell in love with TF2. I didn't have a PC growing up, so I had no way of playing TF2. But my best friend James, same time period, middle school, and that's about the gap, honestly. When you would have been in middle school and I would have been in middle school, TF2 would have been popping when I was in middle school. TF Classic probably would have been popping when you were in middle school. He had 2 gaming PCs in his basement. One was his, one was his dad's. And I would go over there literally every weekend throughout basically my entire time in middle school. And dude, we would play. I would be there for like 2 days, and we would play 10-hour days of Team Fortress 2. I'm positive, dude. Like I'm sure that I put 1,000 hours into Team Fortress 2 on someone else's Steam account. Like, I adored that fucking game. It was so amazing. And if you didn't know this, Jordan, originally TF2 was designated to be released originally in 1999, and then after that, the year 2000. But its actual release was 2007.
I did not know that,
bro. So you're talking
goodness.
like, dude, you're talking 8 years, like 8 years of polish and paint and like going over it 10 more times to make sure that everything was perfect. And like, dude, TF2 is always going to be one of my favorite gaming memories. It was the first online game that I fell in love with outside of like Halo.
Yeah.
So dude, I love it.
Is TF2 one of the ones that's like one of the highest, like, or most played Steam games, or am I thinking of Counter-Strike?
I know Counter-Strike is up there. I wouldn't be shocked if TF2 has some insane numbers, though. I mean, it was so popular when it was like first out. Yeah. But no, I mean, for me, it's TF2. I think by a long shot. But what about you? What's a game that, like, dude, to its benefit, got delayed?
I think this is both an easy answer and just such a cog answer to say.
Come on,
Tears of the Kingdom, man.
Dude, yeah.
Like it could technically apply to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom because they were both delayed. But I mean, I've said it before that at this moment, Clear Obscure is going to be in the running in my like all-timers list. I mean, it is in the running.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give it more than 48 hours where I like really nail down exactly where it falls. So like Clear Obscure notwithstanding, Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what exactly it would have looked like had it come out sooner.
Sure.
All I know is what they gave me is probably as close to perfect as like a Zelda game could have been for me. Just the way that they really ramped up and gave a lot more depth, no pun intended, to the story itself. That was one of the only things I could really complain about for Breath of the Wild was like there wasn't much of a story. It was just kind of like you got the exposition at the front, and that was really about it. Like you learned a little bit about each area as you went, but it was like, oh hey, Ganon's back. You should do that. Take care of that.
Right.
Help,
right.
Save my daughter. Whatever. But like Tears of the Kingdom just took it to like the stratosphere with how much they actually like literally built in. You would not believe that I did not intend either one of those puns, but I really did.
Wow, that's awesome.
For once in my life, I was just trying to be sincere. But I mean, it really did, dude. Like with how deep the story goes, both for Link and for Zelda, and like the legacy that some of the sages have with their connections with their ancestors and things. It's just chef's kiss. Just ended on a chef's kiss.
Yes, dude. As someone else who like adores Tears of the Kingdom, like the way I know that a game is going to hit my all-time list is when I start skipping things I know I need to do to like keep going, but like things I want to do. You know what I like? Prime example was like, I was telling you before we got live on the air, right? I'm playing through Claire right now. You've rolled credits, so I'm at about the 50% mark. I'm at about the halfway mark. I bought Midnight Walk yesterday. For those of you that don't know, I drafted Midnight Walk on the Fantasy Critic, the DIDO Fantasy Critic, of which I'm in a terrible spot, and I will be dead last this year. There's no way out. I have buried myself. I'm livid. Dude, so like the Midnight Walk, I put it on my Fantasy Critic, and I've been so excited to play this game. I reached out to try to get a code for it. Okay, like I love the art style. Bought it yesterday and said I'm gonna play it yesterday. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to play Claire. And I'll do it tonight when I get out of work. Yeah. That didn't happen either. And then I wake up today, and I was like, I'll play it today. I'll play it today during the day. It's a 4-hour title. I'll beat it before I get on the show. And I'm like, I could just hear it. Claire obscure. I was like, oh.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It
was just like I was listening to the soundtrack on Spotify, like I had been all day.
I'm really talented. You didn't know this, but
you are.
Yeah, Patrick thinks he's the singer of the group. It's me. Dude, holy shit! Like it was like a need. Like it wasn't that I could just go play the Midnight Walk. I needed to play Claire. I say all this to say that was Tears of the Kingdom for me. There were so many games, amazing games that came out in 2023 that I wanted to be playing. But I could not get off that fucking Switch. No matter how hard I tried, that was all I did. I sat there and I kept playing Tears of the Kingdom over and over and over again, doing every little thing in the map.
Yes.
That's another thing, bro. If it's an open world or even semi-open world, and I'm like, what the hell is in that nook over there? That's how I know it's an amazing game. And it's
show me your nooks.
Show me your nooks, damn it. Like, bro, like that's Claire Obscure and it's Tears of the Kingdom. Tears is an all-time pick. Love that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Are we going to keep going from like most positive to most negative?
We could.
If you want to. Yeah, let's do it. I guess next one. Want to do hard hit? Like which one you were just pained by? Jordan, what pains you? Jordan, what grieves you? What grieves your spirit?
Again, this is it's on brand because it's true. Metroid Prime 4.
Dog, yeah. Yeah.
But look, man, like, again, that could easily fall into the prior category too, because by all accounts, like every single preview was like, yo, this is slapping. Like the mouse controls, the graphics, like everything is just singing about this game. But I mean, we want to go back to the earlier discussion about Other M. That was 2010. So the original Prime trilogy had already come and gone by that point.
Sure.
And then we waited, and then that came out, and that was something.
Yeah.
And so we've waited this long for another entry in like the 3D, sub-series or whatever. They first announced that it was coming to the Switch in 2018, I believe. Yeah. It was not the year the Switch came out, so I think it was 2018. And then I think it was 7-8 months later, like one of those January directs where it's just like we have an update about this game for you. And it's just like, hey, sorry, we're starting over. Damn.
I
don't know if you remember that detail. It wasn't just like, it's delayed. It's we are restarting development because it was not living up to what we wanted it to be the first time around. Yeah. And like, there's all sorts of rumors that it was Bandai Namco that was going to be doing the initial pass of it. Yeah. They never confirmed that, but then they did say that for the restart they're just bringing Retro Studios back because why mess with greatness, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was definitely a bummer. I mean, to sit there for every Nintendo announcement for years waiting for like Metroid, and then getting like Federation Force on the DS, like, or the 3DS. Like,
Who played that? I didn't.
I didn't play that. Some weird little chibi spinoff. Like, what is going on here? Like,
dude, it looked. I remember when that got announced. I was like, "What the fuck is going on at Nintendo?" Like, of all the things you could do with the Metroid property, this is a weird decision. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but those WNDs, those weird Nintendo's decisions, like,
yeah, dude.
Because I feel like maybe I'm just being harsh on it, but I feel like from the previews, even for a 3DS game, it looked like crap, dude. Like, it did not look good.
Yeah, it looked bad. Yeah,
I know that the 3DS is capable of more than that because we got Fire Emblem Awakening on there.
Oh my god, dude! One of the most beautiful games. Oh, just insane. The fact that it looks as good all this time later as it did then just speaks volumes. I mean, they horsed on that hardware. Yeah, I love that you brought up Metroid Prime 4. I think it's one of those things where you said it earlier. It's like, I guess I'm okay with it. It's like, and I'm also really proud of Nintendo for them to look at what was being done with Metroid Prime 4 and say, nope, this isn't good enough. I don't know how many publishers would or really can afford to do that. Like, no, just scrap all that we've worked on and start over at square one. But I love that they have enough love for Metroid in their hearts that they're like, no, we got to do right by these fans. Because what year did Metroid Prime 3 come out? 2011?
3 was, I think, 2007, 2008.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
Dude, I think it was originally going to be a Wii game, like launch. Sorry, it was a Wii game. It was originally going to be a launch game, which was 2016, but it wasn't. It got pushed as well.
Wow.
But so I think it was like 2007, 2008 when Metroid Prime 3 came out. So yeah, they they took their time with it, and yeah, I'm so I can't wait to play that.
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna be there day one with you whenever it does come out. I'm so excited. I love that.
What kicked you in the chest, though?
Dude, for me, it's probably no surprise. I've talked about this game quite a bit this episode, unintentionally. I didn't even really put
Disco
this together.
Elysium.
No, I wish. No, I only got geeked about Disco when it came out on PlayStation 5. Kind of same story as Hades, where it's like I didn't know what I was missing out on till I started playing it. Dude, for me, it was God of War Ragnarok because it originally had a fall 21 release date. I
forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, dude. That was originally where it was going to land. Sony had said that they were going to put it out in 2021, which in hindsight is pretty shocking because that would have only given it a 3.5-year development cycle. Like,
right. Yeah, that's not enough time.
Not at all.
Come on.
Not at all. But like the fact that like they thought that was possible, I was like, fucking hell, let's do it. And I mean, Sony Santa Monica is a decent sized, studio. Like it's not impossible, but improbable. And I was devastated when I saw that it got pushed back to 2022. Was it 2022 that it came out? I thought it was. Right?
Yeah, because it was Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok and what was the other one? There's one more that year.
Oh God, what was it? What else was 22? Shit, dude. What else? Let's look up Game of the Year nominees. 2022.
Yeah,
Game of the Year.
Because there were 3 big ones. It was Ragnarok, Elden Ring, and there was one other that I just can't place right now.
Horizon.
Duh.
Yeah. Holy shit, dude!
I'm like the one person who really loves Horizon on this podcast. I can't remember it was supposed to come out that year.
Because I'm in the Horizon Zero Fun camp, and I hate that. I hate that. The gameplay's awesome. The dialogue's stiff. No, dude, like the COVID, anything that happened during COVID, just COVID brain. Can't remember when it happened, but no, dude, like Ragnarok. I was so excited. I was so ready to get my hands on this sequel. And I think I was still like a little bit trepidatious because 2018 literally changed my entire perspective of everything. My perspective of my dad, my perspective of myself, my perspective of fatherhood one day, if that's in my cards. Like, it just changed so much for me. And I was like, there's no way that the follow-up can do that. But still, the curiosity of, but can it? Can Sony Santa Monica manage to speak to exactly where I'm at right now in my life again? Can they do it twice? You know what I mean? Knowing that I had to wait another year to do that was just devastating for me when it happened. Obviously, hindsight 2020, I'm ecstatic that they took that year. I wonder what kind of a game we would have gotten had it not been delayed, I'm so glad that they took the time that they needed to, because God of War Ragnarok is one of my favorite PlayStation exclusives of all time, probably top 3. Yeah. It's really good. It's really, really good. So I was saddened by it, but happy in the long run. So yeah, that's the game that hit me in the fucking chest. Jordan, I wonder what your answer is going to be for this one. Like, I'm so curious, because there is such an obvious answer, and I went for the obvious answer. Maybe you did too. I'm not sure. But what's a game that like could have used a delay, that we would have been like, thank fucking God, knowing what it is now and what it was at launch? What was a game that needed some polish and probably could have used another 6 months in the oven?
I don't think you're gonna anticipate my answers, actually. So for this one, I have 2. Do you want to just go back to back, or do you want to trade off a little bit here? What do you want? Let's
go back to back. I want to hear what your 2 are. I'm intrigued. Intrigued.
So I know I've talked about this in the Discord for sure. Maybe on content a little bit. Scars Above, dude. Like, that is one of those classic, like,
wow.
On paper is probably like a 7.5 or 8, but you just love it like a 10 out of a 10. You know, like just the way that they really made this awesome, cohesive, self-contained sci-fi story with elements of Metroid Prime, elements of like Resident Evil, elements of like all these different games, and it really did mesh together in an interesting way. I loved the story. The gameplay was fun, but it really was like some of the animations, like even like the cut scenes were like really stiff. The animations were weird. Like really? I have a clip somewhere, I think, but like, so the stereotype that I feel like, I don't know if God of War 2018 kicked it off, but it certainly like beat it down to the ground like a dead horse. Was the whole like ducking under something?
Yes, yes.
They do that in Scars Above, but it's seriously like it's this like wide open little area, and you just see like some random thing of like bushes or rocks with like this like perfect little like rectangle, and then you like just with like one little sprig underneath it, and then you just kind of like,
God,
like shuffle under it. So there's so many little things like that really, if they had just given it a little bit more time, it could have been, again, I don't know if it would have been like a game of the year contender for the publications, but it would have at least gotten better than like a 64 on Metacritic. You know what I mean? Like, sure. It would have, because again, all of the other pieces are just so good that I still love it. I got the platinum for it. I think I missed maybe one achievement when I played it originally on Xbox, and I bought it again. So I bought it twice. Like, that's how much I enjoyed this game. I bought it twice. So it really could have used that extra polish. And my other one is, I guess it was from last year, is that Tales of Kenzera Zao. There were a couple of aspects in particular, the combat being one of them, and like some of the abilities and these weird, those like escape sequence type of sections that just did not gel well with the rest of what was going on at all. This story about losing your father, about grief, about like coming to terms with it, of like all of that was so well done. Abubakar Salim and his performance and the supporting performances were all very well done. All of that was great. But honestly, if it didn't have that, it would have been like no one would be talking about it if it wasn't for that aspect of it, because the gameplay itself, it just had so much that should have been better. To have all these, like the way that the combat worked, and like some enemies have certain shields that you can only use like certain attacks on, like either your sun mask or your moon mask, but then they're like kind of out of range for the mask that you need to use to even break their shield. And if you're away from their shield for more than like 3 seconds and it just like regenerates, and you're just like stuck in these, I know it's not just Doom that does this, but they kind of, lock the door behind you kind of thing. And so you're trapped in this area until you kill all the enemies, and you're just like stuck in there for like 10 minutes because they keep regenerating their shields and like knocking you across it was infuriating at certain points. I wanted to give up, but I just stuck with it because I wanted to see the story through. You know what I mean? But like, the gameplay didn't make that easy. And I feel like, we give it some grace, as we should. We give it some grace because it was the freshman effort from his new studio, that sort of a thing. Sure. But I mean, to that point, it's your first game. Just make sure to take the time to do it right.
Seriously,
like Claire Obscure. I'm just saying.
Right, dude. And that's the thing. No, but I agree with this analysis that you're making, and that's that, like, I do understand when studios put out their freshman title, we give them a little bit of wiggle room, but I'm starting to think that wiggle room is starting to dissipate because we've watched now so many studios make their first fucking game and it's a masterpiece, right? Whether we're talking about Clair Obscur or Disco Elysium or a variety of other titles, it's like it doesn't hurt to give it another 6 months. It doesn't hurt to give it another year, right? Because here's the reality, right? Zaum can put out dog shit for the next 10 years. And we'll still be talking about it because of how good Disco Elysium was. And we'll still be buying it, right? Sandfall Interactive could put out dog shit for the next 10 years. I'll still be buying it and talking about it. Because when you make an impression that strong with a first title, and you know the team is inexperienced, you know that they're like adapting to a completely different environment that they've never dealt with before, it's that much more impressive. And it gives me that much more reason to stay around for the ride. So I understand your criticisms of Tales of Kinzera Zao. Ironically enough, with Scars Above, never played Scars Above. Had no idea that there was this much love for it. I remember when it came out in 2023. 2023 was, for me, in recent memory, my most packed year. Where
what
like
a
I was
banger year, dude. Like, seriously.
Bro, like I'll just be honest. Like, as we ended 2024 on DIDO, as we were preparing for DIDO, right? Because we did our episode where we drafted our top 10 games of the year, and then I think that was our first piece of content on DIDO. I struggled to come up with my top 10. I was like, damn, what did I really love this year? What made my top 10? Which, make no mistake, there were great games. There were absolutely great games that came out last year, but it was not anything like 2023 where I was like, fuck, dude, what do I put in my 8 slot? Like, I have 4 different answers. Like, that's
right.
such a, like, what a great year. And so I ended up missing Scars Above, but hearing the way you talk about it makes me want to go back and play it, even in light of what you've said about it needing another coat of paint, a little more polish.
Because I mean, even despite that, I mean, it is still 1,000% playable and enjoyable. It's just like, you know how it is, where you're just playing through. You're like, they could have, that cutscene. None of those lips were matching. Like, we're almost doing like a one of those like really stereotypical old dubs that they kind of like played off of for that Kung Pao Enter the Fist movie. Did you ever see that?
No,
it was. I don't know if it was like. I'm not trying to make a joke. I don't know if it was like before your time as far as like, would you have been of the age to where you could have gone and see that in theaters kind of thing.
Sure.
But like, it's like this dude literally inserts himself into an old Kung Fu movie with his own dialogue and like makes it a new plot out of it and stuff. But like, they're really hamming it up. Like where you see a dog's mouth go, but you don't hear the bark until he's off screen. Like it's almost that bad. Like sometimes with some of this dialogue, I'm like, well, you could have worked on that a little bit longer.
Sure.
Still love the final product enough to buy it twice, but like,
right. But that's the thing. It's hindsight. It could have been better, and maybe had it gotten higher reviews, maybe I would have played it in 23, and maybe you and me would be having a whole different conversation right now.
Right.
So
I did convince Cayman to pick it up and play it.
No shit.
Yeah, and he had the same feelings of like, this is like, these aspects are so good that it like elevates the whole experience, even despite some of its flaws. So for what it's worth, there are 2 of us that there are dozens of us.
There are dozens of us, bro. Cayman loves a 7 out of 10. He's a sicko for it. Oh, he's a sicko for it. I'm gonna jump over to chat real quick. We got Pixie in the chat who says, "What's up, family? Anyone been feeling Expedition 33?" Pixie, me and Jordan were ranting and raving about it for a fat chunk of this podcast. We are adoring Expedition 33.
Yeah. I rolled credits, and it is one of my favorite games like ever. Like, that's just hands down. It's just incredible.
And as someone who's only halfway through, I know it's going to land top 10 for me. I think I don't think there's any way around it. Noah gives us a write-in, and he writes, "It hurts to give it that 6 months or that year if you're burning more money than you can afford to spend in the next 6 months or a year. To be fair, these are not cheap endeavors. There are more times that you're going to hear about in postmortems from failed studios that are just shipping because, well, we can't do anything but ship it and hope like hell we get enough sales to fix it. While I totally agree about the sentiment being polished debut experiences, I think it's a little reductive to just say, take your time when so many of these projects simply do not have that luxury." And Noah's right. I mean, games are really expensive, and sometimes another 6 months to a year of development is too much. And I get it, but I know that we've watched so many developers, right, who put out their games with the hope of let's just make enough money so we can fix it. They never get the chance to, because our industry now is we're oversaturated. There's no way around it, and that's not a bad thing. There's something for everybody, but we go and we check the Metacritic ratings, right? Obviously, it's a little different here at Drop In Drop Out because we're trying to bring you content about titles as they come out within days of the games coming out. So we're buying shit day and date. But most consumers, you know, with this economy, with the value of the dollar, they have to really be picky about what games they're buying and what games they're waiting for a sale for. And so I think a lot of times when you put out your game and you know it's not finished, I think you kind of doom yourself, because if that Metacritic score says 70, most people are going to look at it and say, I'll wait for it to go on sale. And most times by the time it would go on sale, it's too late to fix anything.
There's like 6 other games that got a 75 that you can check out instead.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's he's absolutely right though. Like, and for what it's worth, we are talking about just I happen to pick a couple of smaller games, but like, you know, the same is true for all these big studios who have so much money to throw around that they don't like, you know, we got Sony dropping what, 200 million on Spider-Man 2. What was the number? Like 300. Like that's insane. Like
it's nuts.
And I will say it till the day I die. For that game to have cost that much and have that many bugs at launch, it was so annoying.
Yes,
I was getting stuck in walls. I was like getting locked out of missions because like they wouldn't even like start. That's the topic.
No, dude, I would love, dude. I have very similar criticisms for Spider-Man 2. I would love to do that with you sometime. I understand the sentiment, but honestly, I if you have the money, if you have the resources, if you have a publisher behind you that has enough money, if you kind of got to twist their arm a little bit for those next 6 months, like do whatever you can to like get your game to like an 80. You know what I mean? Like get it in a good spot. Jordan, I'm gonna bring a bigger title to the conversation.
Do it.
And Jordan, they had the fucking money to wait. They just didn't. Jordan, what do you think I'm talking about? I'll give you 3 guesses. Just 3. Trace. 3 guesses.
Can you give me like a 5-year window of when it came out?
Yes. Between 2016 and 2021.
Oh, okay.
Very
notorious. Somebody that had Cyberpunk.
Boom. My God.
Yeah.
Jordan, the year is 2020. I have heard the rantings and the ravings of Cyberpunk 2077 for damn near a decade at this point. Little Johnny, who's really like grown Johnny, he's like 21. All right. Right. Wants to get his grubby
grown Johnny.
Little grown Johnny. He wants to get his grubby little hands on this fucking masterpiece that everyone is saying is going to be a masterpiece. And why would we not think that when we look at CD Projekt Red's previous work? I mean, known for making masterpieces. So what do? I go to my girlfriend at the time and I'm like, is there any way for my birthday you would buy Cyberpunk 2077 for me? And she said, John, we'll see what we can do. And you know what she did? She got me the deluxe edition, right?
Aww.
Oh, she was so sweet. She had all the goodies in there. I'm talking like the postcards, all that shit. All of it. And I get home, base PS4, right? PS5's not out yet, right? No, PS5's not out. No, it was out. And I bought this was so weird. When Cyberpunk launched, it didn't have a PS5 and Xbox Series X version.
Oh, that's right.
You remember that? So I get a PS4 version of it, throw it into my PS5, and I'm starting to look on Twitter just to see how are people enjoying it, because I got it like the day it came out. And I'm seeing what it looks like on a base PS4, like what people are going through, like the whole game not being able to operate past the tutorial. And I'm like, holy shit, thank God I'm not going to have that problem on a PS5. Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. Jordan booted that motherfucker up. And like, make no mistake, it was nowhere near as bad as it was on a base PlayStation 4. But that game was one of the most unpolished games I've ever seen in my entire life. Everything about it felt lackluster. Felt like it just felt like they shipped an unfinished game. And I think I probably got 3 hours into that game before I was like, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. Took the game out, put it in the case. I was so mad. I was so bitter. Like, it was this game that, like, it had everything behind it. It had so much development time. It had so much hype. It had so much belief. It had really talented developers. And I really just think, clearly, because now we see what Cyberpunk is now, just not enough time. Yeah, holy shit. Cyberpunk was like a gut punch for me. And man, it needed some polish.
The irony being, wasn't that delayed like 17 times? And it's still
dog. And that's what's hard, is that it's like you're looking at it and you're like, yeah, I think they delayed it like 3 or 4 times. It may have been less than that. I might be over exaggerating, but it's like, damn, at that point, just delay it a 5th. Like,
yeah,
you've already got people on the edge of their seat. You've already lost like the appeal of like making it the day you said it would be on. Like, at this point, save your ass and you know, spare people. And to this day, I've tried to get back into Cyberpunk like 3 or 4 times, and I've just never been able to do it because I always feel that sour feeling that I felt when I first played it. And I've gotten like 3-4 hours in, and it's the same thing. I'm like, no, dude, I don't even want to deal with it. So I'm really sad because, you know, what Cyberpunk is now compared to what it was in 2020, it's a completely different game. It's a masterpiece. You know, it finally achieved that. The sad part is very few people got to see that masterpiece on display. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like, so I'm trying to scroll because I feel like I saw somebody say it. Maybe it was I can't tell if it was in Discord or in our Twitch chat. Somebody somewhere, make yourself known, had said, like, just imagine if like the Cyberpunk 2.0 had actually been like the base launch.
Dude.
Like, because to their credit, we always want to give credit where it's due.
Yes.
Like they did, it has a complete redemption story to it.
It does.
Like,
it does.
With Phantom Liberty being up for like so many awards, like just in and of itself, like, so kudos to the team for, you know, taking it to the chin, as they say, and like, you know, fixing what was broke and going on from there. But yeah, that was definitely a big one for for a lot of people. I remember seeing videos probably from like base Xbox or base PS4s of like that intro where you're like riding the monorail or whatever it is, and like the outside windows just like not even loading. It's just like
Jordan, it was horrifying. You're like, dude, I was sitting there in my room, just literally out loud, just saying, what the fuck? Like, I was so mad, dude. Like, oh, and I love what you said, though. Kudos to the devs, because, you know, for them to choose, yo, we're not going to leave it in this broken state. We're going to do everything we can to make the money you did spend on this game worth it. It's like, it's a great moment from CD Projekt Red, and I just wish that would have been the launch. That's it. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have been there at launch. Yeah. Jordan, we have one final category of delayed games, and it's games that were doomed from the beginning, that all the delays in the world couldn't have saved. That there was something integral in these games that was missing, that couldn't have been fixed by polish or paint. Jordan, what is a game that was doomed from the beginning?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I was trying to scour the you know, the nooks of my mushy brain and like try to find something. So I was looking around on different sites to try to say, lists of games that, like, you know, blah 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 blah. And I was coming up kind of empty as far as, because I'm trying to bring up games that I've played, you know.
Yes,
but there is one that was on lists that I did play back in the day, and at the time, in my undiscerned palate, I actually did enjoy.
I know what you're gonna say. Oh my god, do it!
What am I gonna say?
Are you gonna say Duke Nukem Forever?
I'm actually not.
Wow. Okay. Never mind. Okay. What is it?
That is a good one. It was called Too Human. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of Too Human. My God. What? Yes.
Because you want to guess who you're playing as?
Yes. Who am I playing as?
Baldur.
No, you're fucking not.
And like the main antagonist is Loki. I am almost certain. Like I know you're playing as Baldur, and like the concept of it was like, instead of being necessarily gods, it was like they were kind of cybernetically enhanced, kind of a thing. Like that's the whole like Too Human moniker was because like, you know, how human were you if you were this enhanced with all blah blah blah. Like, and I remember it not being like perfect, but I remember enjoying it. what I also I forgot how to speak for a second.
You're all right. We do it all the time.
I'm on a podcast. I talk real good with my words. I remember it being originally planned as a trilogy.
Jesus, dude.
It only got one. It only had the one.
Yeah. We didn't need a sequel. Wow.
I feel like it was one of those. Who made the game? Was it like THQ something or other? Let's see here.
It says Silicon Knights.
Oh, Silicon Knights. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is insane because you know what else Silicon Knights did?
What else did they do?
Was that Requiem, that Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem or whatever for GameCube. That's like lauded as one of the best like horror games of all time.
Bro.
Eternal Darkness, right?
This is so interesting, bro. They also did Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes,
which is also goated. I will take that to my grave, dude.
Bro,
that was so good. I did not have a PlayStation 1 growing up, and so that was my first experience of actually playing the first game because we had PS2, so I played the second one. But that's sorry.
No.
But yeah, like so I'm pretty sure Too Human made them go under because Twin Snakes I feel like had a decent reception, and Eternal Darkness again is one of the like most highly lauded horror games, especially for the time. It did all sorts of stuff like messing with your head, like kind of like Metal Gear Solid did, where you fight Psycho Mantis and he's like, "Hey Snake, I see all your waifu games in your memory card." And so Eternal Darkness would be like, if your sanity meter was too low, then like it would act like your TV was turned off, or that like the screen was flipped, or like all those other kind of like weird like things just like mess with your head. Yeah, for Too Human, the game's story is a science-fictional, futuristic retelling of Norse mythology that portrays the Aesir, the Norse gods, as cybernetically enhanced humans tasked with protecting mankind from the onslaught of Loki's army of machines. And so you take the role of Balder, who is less cybernetic than the other gods, thus being too human.
Whoa, dude. This is what's so weird. I've seen the cover for this game a million times because I almost bought it when I was a kid. This is what's so crazy, bro. I can see the Norse runes on the cover. I never, ever once thought twice about them being there. What the hell? Wow. Yep. What a pick. What a pick. And also, ironically, a game I really wanted to play as a kid. Wild.
Yeah. So that was one that I remember getting enjoyment out of, but I just know that like, obviously from what happened, from the fallout of the studio and the critical reception that it I must not have just been mature enough to realize how shitty it was. I don't know.
No, dude, we all have a game like that in our childhood. Like
for sure.
Mine was Hellboy Science of Evil. I loved Hellboy, so I fucking loved that game. That game's dog shit. Like that game is so atrocious. Like one of the worst games ever.
Can I drop one more bit of mini cog lore real quick?
Please.
So I want to say it's like 2001 or 2002. It's, like early 2000s. So the Hellboy movie had come out and I loved it.
Yes.
Like the first movie with like, Ron
Perlman,
Selma Blair. Like, so good.
Such a good movie.
And so we're on vacation, like me and the family. And I asked, like, I think that I knew I was all up on this as a kid. I knew that it had come out on DVD or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we're on vacation, and I'm like, "Hey, Dad, can I go buy Hellboy?" And he was like, "Yeah," because I was raised and still am. You're like religious.
Yeah.
And so my dad's kind of like, "Is that the like Hellboy? Is that the thing with like the guy with those like things coming up his head?"
Yeah.
And so to me, I'm like, "Yeah, Hellboy's got like his like chiseled down horns." Yeah, he's like, "I don't think I should be buying that for you, son." Like kind of thing. He thought I meant Hellraiser. Like with like Pinhead, like
oh my god, dude. This is so interesting. This is a great lore drop though, because it was the same thing for me growing up. Me and my younger brother, we adored Hellboy. Like we were watching it one day, and my dad comes home from work and he sees it, and he like has a stroke. He's like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what the fuck are you watching?" And it was so great because I guess it was right at the part where like Guillermo del Toro he did a lot with like Catholicism in the movie, which it's less explored in the comics. Is like a really like I've read so much Hellboy. Like you would be disgusted if you saw my bookshelf. I adore Hellboy. He really leans into this idea that the professor was Catholic and he raised Hellboy Catholic, and that's not really in the comics. But interestingly enough, the reason why Guillermo did it was because it was kind of how he was explaining his relationship with his father and the turbulence. Okay. Yeah, dude. So I think my dad came in at the time where like he's holding the fucking rosary and he's like, remember who you are. And he throws it to fucking Hellboy. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's all right. You know, Jesus is in it. That's so funny. Anyway, go buy Hellboy Science of Evil. Phenomenal game. I'm being so facetious. Cog, I have a doomed game.
Bring us home, man. I'm dying to know what you got for me. It
was hard. I was stuck between two, but I've only played one of them, and that was kind of my rule going into this. Was like, okay, it has to be games I've played, because I think that you're able to speak to it so much better. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Yep,
I remember.
That's a good pick. I mean,
yeah.
It's not a good game. It's a good pick.
Right. Not a good game.
To be fair, I didn't actually play it myself, but continue.
No, I mean, well, I'll tell you this. The stories are true. I remember when it got announced, I went to all of my closest friends. I have like a little trio of best friends. I am one of the three. And I was like, guys, when this comes out, we all have to have a console and we all have to play it. The idea of a multiplayer Rocksteady game was so intriguing to me. I'm kind of a moron because as I got closer to the release date, I was like, wait a minute, a Rocksteady multiplayer game? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, especially coming off the heels of Arkham.
Dude. And that's kind of my whole thought process about why I think the Suicide Squad was doomed to fail no matter what. Your entire studio, what you've done well, what you've built your reputation, your legacy, and your name off of is single-player action adventure games in the superhero genre. But there's a couple key words there, and one of them is single player. You know what I mean? Like that's your bread and butter. And you're not a team that has ever made a live service game. You're not a team that's ever made a multiplayer game. And so it kind of becomes this like ship of Theseus like conversation, which is like, was the Rocksteady that made Suicide Squad even the Rocksteady that made the Arkham games? And the answer is no, because when you're making such a drastic shift in genre, you really have to go and hire so many people outside of your studio,
right? Yes,
to come and bring that expertise, right? Like the live service expertise, the multiplayer expertise. Like you got to start figuring out servers. Like so much of your manpower has now been shifted away from narrative storytelling, single player action adventure. It has been poured into getting people that can talk to you about live service and how to build a successful business model. Clearly not all that successful, but that's what they paid those people to do. And when that game came out, I saw the reviews and I said, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this. And I waited until I want to say like a year ago to finally get my hands on it and get into it. And it was as bad as you would expect. It felt super misguided. And I don't know. I think even from a narrative perspective, I think some decisions are made. I'm going to spoil Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Like killing Batman like that. I don't know, dude. Like
I watched it on YouTube. I was like, yeah,
bro. And it's like, and you know, at that time, that would have been Kevin Conroy's final performance as Batman, which I think makes it hurt a little more. I also am trying to respect him as an artist. He clearly thought this was worthy of his voice and his talent. That's why he did it. You know what I mean? He wanted to lend his voice one last time to this character that he'd worked on for so many years. But I just think there's a lot of narrative decisions that feel pretty piss poor. The boss design is really bad. And this is what sucks, is that it's not that Rocksteady was replaced by a bunch of people that made a really good like live service Suicide Squad game. They're replaced by a lot of people that made a really bad live service Suicide Squad game. You know what I mean? Like that's what hurts. It's like, oh fuck, it's not just that you like betrayed, you know, your name and your legacy and why we love you. And that's not Rocksteady's fault. That's someone above them. That's a corporate person. That's a suit, like live service, Fortnite, skins, money. And it's fucking brain dead as shit. But it's that like dude, like the game was really fucking bad. So
Yeah,
I
got
think that game was
major like. It's my bad.
no, you're good. You're good.
I got major. I watched some of them. I like just social pals play it, like with some people that have like metal and threads and whatnot. Like, and I know some that did get enjoyment out of it. They still enjoyed the gameplay loop enough to like play through it. When like you were saying earlier, there's something for everybody out there. Like, so for some that was their cup. But man, all I could think of seeing it was like, this just gives me like, we have Crackdown at home vibes. Like, did you ever play those games?
Dude, I played a little bit of 2 when I was really young, but I never played 3 because it got reviewed so poorly.
I played the first one and remember really enjoying it at the time. And I jumped into 3 because I think it may be like either major sale or it was on Game Pass or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can see how this would be kind of fun still. Like, but
wasn't Terry Crews in it?
For the third one, yes. Yes, he was.
That's right. That's so funny.
He fit the bill. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I like Terry Crews. He's fun.
He's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like just like the whole like you're jumping around a pretty otherwise bland city, just grabbing neon things and shooting stuff. Dude. Like that's just like that's all I could see. So
I've never even thought. I mean, that's a great quote. We have Crackdown at home. That is Suicide Squad. I've never even like pondered that, but that's even what the gameplay feels like. That's crazy. Yeah, dude.
You can quote me on that. You can put it on my tombstone, my urn, whatever I end up getting. Like just
Jordan, I love you so much. I pray to God that's not the quote we get on your tombstone. I hope it's something more meaningful. I really do. Yeah, it's so funny. Noah's in the chat, and I'm going to take this because I'm selfish.
Yes. I was hoping that you would see that. Yes, please do take this.
Dude, I'm excited. Noah writes, do either of you think Marathon is potentially a doomed game? The extraction shooter fatigue has definitely set in with the general shooter nerd population, and the wider Bungie fan base is going to hate that it's not more Destiny. Jordan, obviously I have thoughts. I'd love to kick it to you first. Do you have opinions on Marathon from what you've seen, from what you've heard, anything? Do you have any thoughts?
Not a lot. What I've seen, I just keep thinking that just looks like a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can put it. Like, not that it looks bad. Like visually, yes, it does look well done. But I've seen mostly the more like cinematic trailers that they've been doing as opposed to more gameplay. Yeah. And so I like there was a couple shots where I'm like, that almost just looks like the original Destiny reveal where they're like the astronauts on Mars with the Traveler up there. What are you trying to go for? It's like with this like weird neon punk something kind of mashup. Yeah, I can't keep up with a lot of that just side of the gaming sphere. right. To be honest, and so my opinion should not be taken as any sort of indictment on anything. Sure. As someone who has not played it, but I am very interested to hear what you would have to say as someone who did play it over the was it the alpha, I guess, that was just closed. Yeah.
No, it's funny that you said that because I actually totally agree with your like perspective on the art style. Like I've really struggled because like the more that people talk about it, it's like no one's able to categorize what it is. And like I guess there's some universes where that feels good, but for some reason here it doesn't. It's like what is this? Like I don't know. Like there's a futurism aspect to it. There's like a neon aspect to it. Like it's very colorful, a bit overdone. Like I don't know. It's weird. I'm not totally on board with the art style, and I never have been. I will have lots of thoughts on Marathon, but I'm going to share it like a little bit, and that's that. Like I think Marathon is going to struggle to find a home because essentially what you're doing is this, right? You have a fan base, a Bungie fan base, right? That has been built over the last 10 years with Destiny. And the one thing that they've neglected, Jordan? PvP. They have totally neglected it. I know because I was an Iron Banner Destiny sicko and everything was broken and everything sucked to play and it was fucking awful. And I hated that because I was a Bungie fan because of Halo multiplayer. Of course, I loved their stories and their narrative, like all that. Like I loved that. But they really neglected like their PvP fan base. And so most of us went elsewhere. I was one of those people that went elsewhere. Yeah. the problem now is that like where is this fan base within the Bungie fan base? I don't know that they exist. I don't know that there's a fan base within Bungie that's like, you want to know what I really want to play? I really want to play a PvP extraction shooter. So bro, like really, like it's a really like it's a challenge. Like it's a challenge. So how many people come from Destiny to Marathon? I think that number is really small. So what else are you kind of going for? You're going for this niche audience with the extraction shooter. You said the extraction shooter fatigue is definitely set in with the general shooter nerd population, but it's really only been the last like 2 years that we've started to see more extraction shooters come out that have actually made a dent. Before that, it was obviously Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is very well known, very beloved, but like it's really only been recent that people have been getting into this genre. So I don't know that it's people. I don't know if it's that people are fatigued as much as it is that people have their preferred extraction shooter. If you're in the extraction shooter genre, you're a Tarkov fan. You're a Hunt Showdown fan. You're not trying to go play Marathon. So I think Marathon is going to struggle to find an audience. Without saying too much, the bones are really good. And as always, Bungie understands great gunplay. And they understand great player.
One thing they ever do, it is the gunplay, man. Like,
bro. And like the encounters are fucking crisp, dude. Like, and also like because they have so much experience with like looting systems with Destiny, extraction shooters are completely based around loot. And I think that the way that they're balancing it and the way the loot pool works, it's really fucking good. I enjoyed my time. And I'm going to cut myself off there because I'll give you all my thoughts and I'll spoil what is going to be a very exciting episode with someone very exciting. So we won't spoil it today. But do I think Marathon is doomed? I don't. But I think that they need to figure out how they're going to find their audience. You want to know how you do that? You open up betas. My God, Bungie do a lot of fucking open betas. Jesus Christ, get everyone in this bitch that you can. And like, God. Yeah. Jordan, we walked into chaos. We didn't know we were walking into chaos. Sometimes our potato shits the bed. Sometimes we got to change out the potato. And tonight, somehow, some way, we lost our good friend Jake. Forever rest in peace to Jake Ditchin. Dude, I'm actually really bitter because like I would have loved to have heard Jake's delayed games. I would have loved to have heard about his video game moms. But Jordan, I think you and me made a phenomenal piece of content.
I think we did, man. I think you and me, we vibe, you know?
Fuck yeah. Absolutely.
There's an energy between us that can't be quantified.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to explore it further, you know?
Same. Dude, and Jake, you get no part of it, damn it.
Jake Cuckin over here, yeah.
Jake motherfucking Cuckin. Jordan, where can the lovely people at home find you if they want to find what else you're up to? If you're talking about Claire Obscure somewhere, where can they go?
Oh, it's almost done, guys.
Oh,
almost.
Come on. Give it to me. Give it to me.
YouTube.com/@cognitive-clips. I've got an essay in the works about Claire Obscure. And of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff already there. So if you like hearing me talk, then you can find plenty to listen to on there already.
Love that.
Where can they find you, Morsif?
Morsif. You can find me at dropindropoutpod.com. You will also get all of your drop-in, drop-out needs. I'm talking about JK Games, Spotlight Games Pod, Dumpster Dives, Save Trash Cinema. I'm talking about all of it. That's where you're going to find it. Dropindropoutpod.com. Perhaps the best way that we can end our episode today, Jordan, is with a quote from Noah in the chat who says, "Usually Maury Jordan content needs a towel to clean up after." Noah, you're a vile human being.
And we wouldn't have it any other way.
We wouldn't have it any other way, damn it. And now I guess we wave at the camera and hope that Jake is somewhere in the vicinity ready to play the outro music.
I have just signaled him via text, so we will see what happens.
So guess what Jordan, here's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna awkwardly stare at our cameras and we're gonna wave until Jake comes. And we're just gonna do that for as long as we
Oh no.
I don't think you got that memo.
Here it goes. Hang on.
It's almost there.
Just keep waving.
No, just keep waving.
Keep waving.
Just smile. We're just gonna smile for it. What a great time.